Welcome to another episode, everyone. Stephen A. Smith. Well, he's responding to attacks upon his person and his character. These attacks administered by Jasmine Crockett, Joy Reid, and Don Lemon. They have been recently attacking him over the past couple of months for comments that he made about Jasmine Crockett and her effectiveness in Congress. And they've been calling him out. Now, he's responded. Jasmine Crockett just recently called Stephen A. Smith the modern-day Django. And he's responded to this attack specifically right here. She just said this on her Instagram. So they're coming for Stephen A. Smith. They believe that he is a raccoon. And he has lended himself to this belief with some of his comments over the past few months. Many people believe that he should stay out of politics and stick to sports. But let's see what Stephen A. has to say in response to Jasmine Crockett and her attacks. And these are attacks upon him that they are issuing.
Day and Friday, but this Monday I had to do Monday Night Football for ESPN, and so that's why I'm doing something today. And it's apropos because I have to address stuff that pretty much nobody wants me to address. They want me to leave it alone because their attitude is you just give fodder to folks. Folks are looking for clicks and stuff like that. I'm not going to classify the people I'm talking about as individuals just searching for clicks. They're accomplished individuals in our profession, in my profession, as well as in politics. And because of that, I'm going to show them a level of respect they certainly haven't showed me. But I'm certainly going to speak on the issues that they've addressed. I'm talking about Joy Reid, formerly of MSNBC. I'm talking about Don Lemon, formerly of CNN. I'm talking about Representative Jasmine Crockett, who for some reason, once again, went on social media to denigrate me. There's no other way to put it. So let me get started with a couple of things first. Joy Reid decides to put out some videos of me talking about keeping receipts because she wanted to put forth a compilation of me talking about black people and comparing that to me talking to white people like Megyn Kelly and Ben Shapiro and people like that. I'm not getting into that. That's nonsense. You can clip and edit any way you want to and contextualize things in your own way. I'm not falling for that. But what I would like to do is address the incentive and the motivation that appears behind the attacks that they have aimed in my direction. First order of business is Joy Reid. Joy Reid was on a podcast. I believe it's my former colleague Kerry Champion's podcast entitled Naked. And listen or look at what Joy Reid had to say about me, and I'll read it to you. You got $100 million for a show with half my ratings at my worst. They're paying you, meaning ESPN, because you are willing to say the nasty things about black people that they want to say. You're willing to take their denigration of black women and put it in the mouth of a Negro, end quote. Before I address what Joy Reid, what I just read to you, came out of her mouth on that podcast.
Stephen. What you got to say about that, man? Those some strong words coming from Joy Reid right there. She's accusing him of being a sellout. That's what she's doing. She's accusing him of being a sellout. Said that ESPN is paying him to say the things that they really want to say, how they really feel about black people. Yes, of course they do. But of course they can't come out and say it. So they give Stephen A. Smith $100 million to come out and say it. A lot of this stuff is sanctioned. A lot of the stuff he says is sanctioned, of course, by the oppressors, by the colonizers. He can't say anything without their approval. So all of this stuff that comes out of his mouth, they subscribe to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this woman is of the mindset that somehow, some way she's been insulted by me because when she got fired by MSNBC, I had the temerity, the unmitigated gall to say this. I've invited Joy Reid on this show, and I'm looking forward to her accepting my invitation so we can talk. Let me tell you how I feel about Joy Reid first. I respect the hell out of this woman. She is highly intelligent, very, very knowledgeable, very passionate. She has a lot to say. She is more than a conscientious observer, and she is fearless in calling out what she believes to be inequities, unfairness, and the like anywhere, but especially as it pertains to the black community and obviously as it pertains to leftists, to folks on the left. But when we want to bring up race as the cause for her being gone, I don't think we're serving ourselves well. Michael Steele is going to be there as well as a replacement, along with Alicia. And you got to remember Menendez is right there as well. It's hard to make the race argument when her replacements are reported to be three individuals that already have a weekend show on the network and they're going to be inserted in the network. And I'm just reading from the reports here. Okay, I have not spoken to Joy Reid. I don't know. I've had the pleasure of meeting her on a couple of occasions. I certainly respect her. And I'm not here to castigate her in any way, but we do have to talk about the business in a very, very honest and fair fashion. Joy Reid was incredibly outspoken against the Trump administration, as has always been the case. Since election, her ratings have dropped by 47%. 47%. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't keep your job when stuff like that happens. You just don't. The business doesn't allow for that to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the only time I've ever spoken about Joy Reid. That right before my interview with Lindsay Davis for ABC News Live the other day. That right there is apparently what she found to be disrespectful. That right there is what she appears to deduce as being denigrating and insulting to black women.
Is that an iPhone 17?
I switched to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
You get a new iPhone 17
It's
on
not
them
just
with an
that right
awesome
there,
camera, and they'll
Stephen A.
even
Smith,
deliver it
and
the
I'll get
same
rid of
day.
these
Switch to
commercials
T-Mobile in
because
just
you're
15 minutes.
ridiculous.
Get a new iPhone 17 on us with same-day delivery.
Why am I wearing a tutu?
What do you want me to say?
It's not just that, Stephen A. It's not just, she's saying that Stephen A. Smith has denigrated black women, not just because of that statement that he just played right there, but because of other statements that he has made as well as it pertains to black women, including Jasmine Crockett. So it's disingenuous to imply that she's making these statements just based on that clip that you just played. That's not true. That's not the whole truth anyway. That was a part of it. And whether her ratings dropped or not, as the statement indicated that she put out, on her worst day, she was getting better ratings than your show, than First Take or whatever else, this show, what have you. So again, clearly she believes that the fix was in, that they fired her for more than a ratings drop, because sometimes ratings go up and down for different reasons. We can get into all of that, but that's neither here nor there. But she believes that they didn't just fire her because the ratings dropped, but because of the way that she attacked Trump during the election, so forth and so on, and other things that she said on MSNBC in her fight for black people. And the fact that they replaced her with a few black people means absolutely nothing. It depends on who the black people are that replaced her. Let's say Clarence Thomas replaced her, or O.J. Simpson, or Anton Daniels, or Officer Tatum. Might as well have put a white person up there. Same thing.
Joy Reid, beyond a conscientious observer, somebody who unapologetically fights on behalf of us as a community every chance she gets. Whether we agree or disagree with tactics from time to time, verbiage from time to time, etc., there is no doubt where her loyalty and her conscience lies. All I was pointing out was, you've gone after Trump, albeit legitimately in your mind and that of many, many others who watched your show. Did you take into account the fact that he might win and what that might ultimately do? Because you know how he is and you know he's coming. And sure enough, a couple of months later, it ended up happening. So when it ended up happening, I was making the point because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the business. Not only that, I've had a show that was canceled in 2007. So I was simply making the point that in our business, particularly when you're black, regardless of the reasons behind why a precipitous fall off may occur, you kind of know what's going to happen. That's it. And because of that, she went on the air weeks ago and said what she said about me. And when I elaborated on what she said and gave my response to Lindsay Davis, all of a sudden she's out with some videos or whatever showing receipts, whatever. Say what you want. It doesn't matter because I understand from a contextual standpoint, I did nothing wrong to you.
They see Stephen says, so what do you think was going to happen when you came for Trump? Did you take into account that he might win? And that's the problem that people have with him. That's the same thing, nearly verbatim, that he said when Jimmy Kimmel had temporarily lost his show for coming after Trump. Or really didn't even come after him. Or Charlie Kirk or what have you. Stephen A. Smith made comments soon thereafter saying, well, you know, you can't go after Trump. What do you think is going to happen? And I'm paraphrasing. Similar comments to these. And the thing is, so it's like you're implying that if they want to keep their jobs, they should sell out. They should not expose the truth about this Nazi administration and Trump's white nationalism. They should not expose this if they want to stay in the business. But some people's morals and ethics supersede their pursuit of money and fame. They care more about their morals and what they believe in and what they are espousing than they do about money. And so they're going to stand on what they believe in and report the truth, regardless of the potential consequences. And to insinuate and imply that perhaps they should not do that. They should just keep their mouths closed and not attack this white nationalist administration. Well, that's subterfuge. That's treason.
And the venom and the viciousness that you choose to show, cool, no problem, I can take it. It's all right, keep it coming. Do what you got to do, if that's how you feel. My name is spelled with a PH, not a V. And even though you'll get your clicks and you'll get your notoriety and people in the audience will gravitate to you, well, guess what? They're going to gravitate to me too. And oh, by the way, you said that the ratings was more than mine. Again, context matters. You do understand I'm on at 10 in the morning. And they just finished reading the article about First Take having record ratings in the year 2025. Same year your show was canceled. You have more ratings, but prime time, which is when you on, comes with a different set of responsibilities. I did not wish for your show to get canceled. I have news for you, Joy Reid. I still wish you were on the air. Because regardless of what bad cynics and critics and others want to say you did, I also know that you did a lot of good. Which is what I said when I talked to you, when I talked about you, back then.
Well, she did all good, not just a lot of good. It doesn't matter what the cynics and critics say. What do you say? You also know that she did a lot of good. So you agree with these cynics and critics, but on the other hand, you also did some good stuff too. No, what are you talking about? This is the problem. My show, 2025, had record numbers the same year your show got canceled. And then who gives a damn about prime time or daytime or whatever? If her ratings were higher than yours and your show had record numbers, she should not have been canceled whatever time she's on. That's the point. On the one hand, you're saying she got canceled because the ratings were low. And on the other hand, you're saying she got canceled because she came after Trump. And what do you think was going to happen? Which one is it?
I talked about the business, but I also talked about the quality of work that you brought to the airwaves. I did that. That's what I did. But that seems to be ignored. Denigrating, disrespecting black women. I'll get into that in a second. But obviously, we don't want to stop with you because Don Lemon, who was at CNN for 17 years, he had something to say about me as well. Listen to this.
Stephen A. Smith has just been a disappointment. I try not to criticize, especially black men or just black people in general. But Stephen A. Smith goes off and he talks about shit that he has no idea about. He has talked shit about me, but no facts. He has no facts. He just gets on these like white boy, right-wing podcasts or on his own show and just goes off about black people and things that for which he has no clue.
Yeah.
And he thinks because he's doing it like this, that people are going to listen to him. What's wrong with you? So I'm like, what am I watching? It's just shocking to me, this sort of cozying up to white people. And it's got to be for the money. But if I became a black conservative, I would be rich, like a gazillionaire. Or if I just went on and started like bashing black people just to bash them. And it seems that's become his stock and trade, to make excuses for white people and to cozy up to people like Megyn Kelly. He's one of those black people who white people think black people like, but we don't. And Stephen A. Smith does not represent us. Black people don't want to hear from him, networks. We don't like him.
I just want to make sure I understand this clearly. Don Lemon speaks for black people more than me. Don Lemon speaks for black people, period. Really? I won't go there. I won't even go there. I'm just not going to do it. I want y'all to understand.
He wants to go there. Like he had to restrain a smile. Don Lemon, just for context, for a bit of a backdrop for those who may not know, is married to a white man. So I believe that's why Stephen A. Smith said that. Don Lemon speak for black people more than me. I'm not going to go there. He wants to go there, saying he's married to a white man. How can he speak for black people? Yeah.
as an audience, let me say this about Don Lemon. My sister Carmen loves this man. Loves herself some Don Lemon. So much so to the point that not only did she watch him every night, she'd call us half the time to make sure we were watching him most of the night. For somebody that don't know much, and who is he, and he doesn't represent us, and blah, 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 you could, if you did your research, notice that I was a guest on Don Lemon's show on several occasions in the past. I never asked to come on. He asked me to come on. And I tried to go whenever asked because me, like I'm sure many others felt, you see a black host on television, you
One
want to...
thing's for sure, bro, watching this, and I had only seen a piece of this really towards the end, I guess, or the middle or something, because this is a long, this whole little show here was 56 minutes long, I believe. 51 minutes. And we're just 13 minutes in to him anyway. So I don't know if y'all want to watch this whole thing. But I am, because it's interesting. But, Stephen, let me let him talk.
help. Don Lemon said that I talked shit about him. Ladies and gentlemen, evidently, this right here is...
Well, okay, he about to play what Don Lemon is upset about. So he said he's been on Don Lemon's show several times. Basically, I didn't know that we had beef. So now he's about to once again not hold himself accountable for anything because he's about to play the clip. So he already said this is what Joy Reid is upset about, and he played the clip. He's only playing the clip because he believes that the clip shows him in a good light, or he would not be showing the clip, right? He believes that the clip is going to support his position, which is that I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. These people are just tripping. Everybody's coming after me for no reason. I mean, that's possible, of course, in this sort of business, but is it probable? Is that the case? Well, let's see. So, we already know what he said about Joy Reid, at least partially why she's upset, because some of the clip he played. You can edit the clip, of course, not to show everything that you said or to take it out of context and not put it in the context exactly what you said and what you were trying to say and why you were saying it. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. So now he's about to, but I was going to say that this must hurt, though. As a black man, this would certainly hurt me. For sure. My people calling me these names? Hell no. But they'll never call me no shit like that. That's one thing they'll never call me. But yeah, now, no way in hell. They know better. Because they know, I'm not these things. I'm just the opposite. But this must hurt to hear this coming from your own people, and these are strong words that these people are saying. Don Lemon, we just played the clip. He's calling him a sellout. He's denigrating black people on air. He's screaming it and, doesn't know what he's talking about and all this. That's some, those words have to hurt. Joy Reid saying ESPN only pays you to denigrate black people. They want to hear it come out of a Negro's mouth, she said. Saying you just up there as a tool. You're not even talented at what you do. You just up there to disrespect your people. You're a sellout. Man, these words must hurt. And then, we're going to get to Jasmine Crockett. He's going to get to her. And things she had to say about him. This shit hurts, you know. But I'm saying, I'm sure it hurts him. It would hurt me. You don't know, but you got to get your act together. I mean, is everybody wrong? Everybody's wrong. Everybody but Stephen A. Or did you really say some things that incurred this wrath? Get it together, brother. This ain't the time. You gotta, a line has been drawn here in this country. You on that side or you on this side? You better make up your damn mind. There ain't no going back. There's no straddling in the line. You jump your ass over there, you stay over there. If you come over here, you're going to stay over here and fight with us. That's for everybody. That goes for everyone.
Don Lemon's definition of shit. Listen up. See, I did some research. Okay? And here is the reality of the situation. When you look at Don Lemon tonight, that's what his show was called, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when he followed up Chris Cuomo. His ratings were his best during the Trump years in office. But even at that time, never averaged more than 1.1 million viewers, according to the reports. Shortly after Trump left office in January of 2021, his ratings steadily declined. And it wasn't long before CNN's primetime ratings overall were down over 50% post-Trump.
Is that an iPhone 17?
Switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
You get a new iPhone 17 on them with its
Okay.
awesome camera, and they'll even
So
deliver
what
it the
point are
same
you
day.
making,
Switch to
Stephen
T-Mobile
A?
in just 15 minutes.
You
Get
are
a new
attacking
iPhone
him.
17 on us with same-day delivery.
Why am I wearing a tutu?
Sounds like an attack to me, homie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part where we all need to grow up. In the business that we're in, I'm in it. I've been in it for decades. You're not keeping your job when those kind of numbers are on the books.
Damn,
You're not doing it. Because
that sounds familiar. He just said the same thing about Joy Reid. Okay, so now it's the ratings with Don Lemon. So this was, he did this video on April 26, 2023. Don Lemon apparently is just now responding, but you've been on Don Lemon's show several times. So why are you even speaking on it? Had his show been canceled at this time and you speaking on this? Let's see. But still, if this is supposed to be your friend, maybe, you've been on this show a few times, you just said, I can see why Don Lemon might be upset. But let's see what Stephen A. had to say about Don Lemon further.
advertisers and sponsors who want to support your product are going to go to where the ratings are. When I was watching one of the 3 shows at 10 o'clock at night on news, it was his show I was watching, not the other 2. But evidently, the numbers say I was in a minority. And again, no disrespect. I like Don. I like his work. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm not here to excoriate him. I'm only talking facts. And Don would appreciate this because Don is a fact-based person. That's what he swears to be. I see no reason to denigrate him in any way. But if Don was doing a story on Stephen A., which he has, and the reports were out there, Don would be reading from the reports just like I'm reading now. Everybody knows this. He would be reading them. And he would be saying, this is Stephen A.'s numbers compared to such and such numbers and such numbers. And if I was in last place, he would say, he's in last place. That's his reality. That's the definition of disrespect to them. That
is
something happens. And
I might take that as a little disrespectful too, bro. Damn, talking about his ratings is bad. And then, see, Stephen A. does this a lot. I do watch First Take. I haven't watched it in a few months. I used to watch it there every morning. Not because or in spite of Stephen A. Just to get my sports information. But man, and I noticed Stephen A. a lot, he will denigrate someone. Denigrate is maybe a strong word, in this case, but, sort of take shots at someone or report the truth and then hide behind the fact that he's just reporting the facts or reporting the truth. This is not how he personally feels. He starts it off with that. He just did it with Joy Reid, right? I have a lot of respect for Joy Reid. Let me make that clear. She fights, and she fights for the black community. The clip he just played. And then when he's done with all of the niceties, when he's done with all of the pleasantries, then he excoriates you, and then says, "Hey, it's like he softens you up before he slaps you." And so now he's in Don Lemon. Come on, man. You know what you were doing. I mean, maybe it wasn't too bad. I guess he is just reporting the facts. He's just saying, hey, his show got canceled, and it was because of the ratings. And I'm just reading the report. But the fact that you kept saying Don Lemon would do the same thing, in fact, he has talked about me. It's like you already know that he's about to have a problem with this. He's trying to soften the blow. I'm just reporting the facts. He says that he's a fact person, so he'll understand this, that I'm just reporting the facts myself, and all that. Come on, man.
Involving you in the news. You're the headline. You're the story. I talk about it, and I read the facts that were put in publications. And because of that, I'm just catering to white folks and talking about folks and all of this other stuff. I say that, I played that clip because Don Lemon specifically said I was talking shit about him. I've never talked shit about you. I've had you on this show. I showed you nothing but respect when you were here. I showed you nothing but respect when I came onto your shows. I've never spoken against you, ever, ever. This pattern that's taking place that I'm witnessing transpire before my very eyes right now. I'm not blind. I see what's going on. And it's one thing. It's very, very simple to disagree with me. It's very, very simple to say that I'm wrong. It's very, very simple to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Cool. Black people don't like me. That's a very, very, very personal shot. What if I got personal about Don Lemon? You want to talk about black people and your relationship with black people compared to others and who likes other people, who black people like and who they don't. We all got receipts. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you. It's unnecessary. You have your YouTube show. Joy's doing her thing with you and without you. I'm wishing y'all success. But what y'all are doing right now is vicious. I can take it. I'm going to continue to take it. It's spelled with a PH, not a V. Feel free. A in the middle initial. Go ahead, knock yourself out. I can take it. But it don't make you right. And it damn sure don't make you righteous. The reality of the situation is that you're basically sitting up there and pulling a Laura Ingraham. With LeBron, shut up and dribble. You're telling me to shut up and stick to sports. It's the fact that I'm touching on stuff that's essentially news and what have you. It's got y'all up in a tizzy. Joy, you brought up Ben Shapiro. I've met the man once. I interviewed him twice. I've met Megyn Kelly once. I've interviewed her twice. You know what we did? We sat down and we talked about our disagreements. I would have afforded that to Don had he called. Not now. I would have afforded that to Joy if she had called. Not now. Because it's gotten personal. And I'm not going to get personal. I'm just not going to waste my time. Black people don't like me. I'm from Hollis, Queens, bro. I'm from the streets of New York City. I go to the streets of America everywhere, all over this country. I'm inside and outside arenas. I'm inside and outside local businesses and stuff like that. I'm the ambassador for HBCU Week. In concert with Ashley Christopher and other people, I've helped generate over 12,000 scholarships in excess of $150 million for Black students. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. I ain't just down with a fraternity, that's a brotherhood. All of them are my boys. I was raised by 5 Black women, Joy. I have 9 nieces. I have 2 daughters. Everybody Black. I still go home to Hollis. On the business side, ESPN takes our show, First Take, to HBCUs. Packed gymnasiums wherever we go. Black people don't like me? You sure? Positive. Walt Disney and HBCUs, when we start going on tours every year. We've been to Delaware State. We've been to Bethune-Cookman. We've been to Norfolk State. We've been to Winston-Salem State. We've been to Savannah State. Oh, yeah, we're going to Texas Southern next month because of what Beyonce did in terms of her contribution to the band. We don't stop. And I said we. Because in concert with the very organization that I work for that you accused me of being paid by just to talk about white, just to talk nastiest things about Black people. What about what I celebrate? I cover the world of sports. Joy. If a Black athlete is competing against a Black athlete, and I'm talking about what a Black athlete did positive and how a Black athlete may have suffered negatively, I'm denigrating a Black person, or am I covering sports? You're competing. Somebody wins, somebody loses. You mentioned Colin Kaepernick. I supported Colin Kaepernick from day one. I just said your strategy's not going to work. Because if you go the route that you're going, you will never be back in the NFL. You seen him play? Have you seen him in an NFL uniform? Was I not right? I looked at Don Lemon, I looked at Joy Reid and what you bring to the table. And it was valuable and it was important. And we needed you on the air. So why continuously go after Trump to the point where all of your eggs are in one basket, and in the event that he wins the election, somehow, some way it can get in the way of your progress? I wasn't selling out, I was looking out. Trying to point out where the potholes and the minefields will lie. Why? Because I've been there.
Nah, man, that's the whole thing, though, bro. Again, and I'm trying to just let him talk and, let him speak for himself. He has to respond to this. Again, these are strong accusations, allegations, calling him a sellout, a raccoon, a no good time. And they all are attacking him with this. And a lot of Black people in general, but, he's right now addressing the names that we know or we should know, because these individuals are in politics and these politics affect our lives. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Reactionary Politics here. We're going to be getting into all of this stuff on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we're covering it and we're uncovering it all. But again, Stephen A. is again saying that they should hold their tongue. They should not express how they really feel about Trump and his white nationalism, which they were trying to expose on their shows, they should not expose this. They should play nice, go along with the Nazi regime, and instead, be in fear of speaking out because, hey, you may lose your job. No. Again, some people's morals are more than that and are more important than that. Understand that many people, black people and others, I'm going to focus on black people, have lost their lives for speaking out. I'm not even going to name the list because the list is as long as the Mississippi River. They were willing to give their lives. But you're telling these individuals that they should not even be willing to get their jobs. And that's the problem. Some black people don't want to sacrifice anymore. Well, our people, our ancestors sacrificed everything, including their lives. They were brutalized for standing up and speaking out. We expect to obtain our freedom in any real way soon, then we're going to have to speak out as well. So don't castigate them for speaking out or imply that they shouldn't. If they lose their job, they lose their job. Jimmy Kimmel almost lost his, but the people stood up and got his ass right back. But they're going to stand up. Bro, we have free speech in this country. The amendments need to be protected. They have a right to say whatever they want to say, as do I, as do everyone else. Of course, there are consequences behind what we say, but you can still say it because there's free speech in this country. So it's okay for Trump to attack everyone he doesn't like, his enemies, his ops, and even his friends. People in Congress, people in the White House, former presidents. And I mean attack them with bigotry, with filth, with venom, visceral attacks upon these individuals and their characters. He's called people every name under the book, done flipped people to bird, the president of the United States. But no one should say a word about him. He can say everything he wants about everyone else, can attack people, but no one can say anything to him, huh? Everybody should tuck their tail and tuck their tongue and be worried about being fired or be worried about his retaliation. No, not worried about it. He attacks people. He needs to be, no, it's going to be reciprocated, man.
I've been canceled. I've been fired. I've been taken off the air. And I was saying, this is the business. Why are we telling people something different? If you don't do X, Y, and Z, that does not mean you were not a great host. It does not mean that your content wasn't substantive. It does not mean it wasn't stuff that we needed to hear. What it meant was, in the end, it's going to be a marathon that you would lose because you went for the sprint. It's a personal opinion. But nothing denigrating or insulting to you all. But you would come at me and try to create a narrative questioning my blackness. Do you really think I'm fazed by that? I ain't a black man, just a black man. I'm a brother. I'm with the brothers and sisters all the time. That's how I live my life. That's what's around me, contrary to what you want to believe. Everywhere I go, black people. Because I'm one of them. My brothers and sisters. And whether you like it or not, you don't get to eradicate and exile people. No, you don't get to do that. Contrary to what you want to believe.
What do you think about T-Mobile Home Internet only being $35 a month?
We need to take
Steven,
your
they
mind
got
off
black
of this.
people.
Come check out my new
Bro.
man cave.
I apologize for these commercials, everyone.
T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month and guaranteed for 5 years.
So
Now,
I'm gonna contact YouTube about
to
this.
touch real quick, to remind people
Straighten this out.
of my politics.
Fuck, I pay my money for.
Let me say one thing before I elaborate on it more extensively before we end this show. I'm not a Democrat, meaning a progressive Democrat. I am not a Republican, never have been. Nor am I down for MAGA, because I don't like some of the stuff either extremes do. I am a moderate who leans left. I am a fiscal conservative, because I can't stand paying high taxes in California, New Jersey, and New York. And I'm a social liberal. I am a supporter, pro-choice, LGBTQ plus community. My only issue is if somebody is transgender and trying to transition from a male to a female and competing with females, because I think that puts females at an extreme disadvantage. That's it. That and things involving kids that don't require parental consent. Because I'm of the belief you can ask a kid to go to the gas station. If you do it against the wishes or against the idea of informing their parents, you're wrong. There's no such thing as things for a child without parental consent. That's it. Period. I'm pro-choice. I'm about looking out for the impoverished and disenfranchised. The elderly matters to me more so than the rest of us, to be honest with you, kids and the elderly. But that's neither here nor there, because we know that's not what this is about. This is about y'all wanting me to parrot what y'all want me to say. And God forbid I think for myself. And I go on a case-by-case basis and I say, yo, this ain't gonna flow. That's not right. It's a problem. I don't subscribe to that. Because I'm of the mindset that when you do that, you don't get to, meaning a politician, you don't get to get held accountable for the things that you do. You want our vote? Earn it. Why should it be? You signed civil rights legislation in the law with Lyndon B. Johnson in 64, and you signed voting rights in 65, and because of that, you've dominated our vote for 80 plus years. I know the answer to some people would be, well, look at what the Republicans doing. I'm saying forget all of that for a second. I understand that. I get that. But what about you, who's swearing up and down, meaning the Democratic Party? You deserve our vote. Flatter me. I want to hear what you're offering. I want to hear what you're thinking and why. I want to hear why your policy ideas are better than theirs for our community, whether it's the year 2000, 2010, 2020, 2025. I'm asking. In this case, rhetorically. I'm saying that's always been my mentality. I've never been any different politically, ever. But now suddenly, I have this platform. And all of a sudden, my check becomes an issue. And speaking of my check, can I ask a rhetorical question right now? Why is everybody always bringing up me on ESPN when I own this YouTube channel? And I own this show on Sirius XM. How come y'all don't bring up Sirius XM? I don't say any of this stuff on ESPN. I don't bring any of my political stuff to ESPN. I'm there to do sports. Everything else is different. But at ESPN, I do a sports show, which, by the way, come April will be number one for 14 consecutive years, by the way. See, in my time slot, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But that's neither here nor there. The point that I'm trying to make is, what's the problem? Why can't y'all bring up Stephen A. on Sirius XM? Stephen A. on Straight Shooter? Why do you keep bringing up ESPN? Because you know it's owned by Disney. Because you're literally trying to go about the business of having me canceled. All I want to say is, I don't have animus and vitriol towards Joy Reid or Don Lemon. Y'all saw what I said. The reason I played you those clips is because it's the only time I've ever talked about them. I wouldn't do that. I don't want you canceled. I don't want you guys without a show. I don't want you guys off the air. I want you talking. I I want you looking out for our community. Just because you do it your way and I do it differently, don't make you better or worse. Neither does it me. But the point is, I wouldn't do to you what you're trying to do to me. You're trying to create a narrative and build it so it would literally be validated what Don Lemon said. Hey, Stephen A., black people don't like you. You speak for all black people. You want to walk out in the streets of America with me and find out? I walk out there every day. I can walk anywhere in this country because I'm a brother who loves my brothers and sisters, regardless of what you think. I grew up arguing with my sisters all the damn time. I didn't know that arguments turned into disrespect because you had a different opinion.
I mean, I think Stephen A. do be trying. He just be messing up. He just be misstepping sometimes. Cowtown for the colonizer, but he be trying. You know, I be tough on these dudes. That if I think they're sellout, I'm tough on. But he be trying. At least he's saying that he's a brother. At least he's saying that. You know. Of course, words are one thing, actions are another. But he could be on here saying, you know, I don't see race. Everybody's my friend. I have friends that of all different races. You know, if y'all want to be racist and whatever, that's on y'all. You know, this is 2026. I have friends of every race. You know, you can twist it like that, you know, whatever. You know, instead he's saying, man, I'm a brother. I hang with black people, my family black. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, you know. I'm just saying.
I didn't know that it translated to hating your own. I thought we as black people butted heads all the time, arguing about our ideas, our thoughts, and everything like that. That's what I thought. But we want to pretend that it's something different now because on a public platform, we're supposed to give a different impression. Let's keep it a buck. Joy Reid and Don Lemon are entitled to their opinion. I don't have to talk to them. I don't have to talk about them. But I want them to know, for future reference, in case you ever wanted to come to this show, you're welcome. And not only that, I'm going to invite liberals and conservatives on this show. I'm going to even try to conduct town halls.
I'm sure he's not finished.
I have the facilities and the means to do it,
Jasmine
evidently.
Crockett had a lot to say.
I want to hear from both sides
I believe he's about to
because I
respond to
want
that
the black
too.
community prioritized in a way that benefits us, not keeps us at the mercy.
But let me tell you right now, boy, be careful about what you say about my sister Jasmine. She's my favorite at this point.
Of one party who's going to take us for granted and another party who's going to dismiss us because they know they never will get our support. And as a result, we are the community that's left being disenfranchised. That's what I'm going to do. I just wanted to say that. Before I ended this by talking about Representative Jasmine Crockett, while Joy Reid and Don Lemon were saying their things, Jasmine Crockett took the liberty, at least according to her X handle, Twitter handle, whatever it is, she took the liberty of talking about me. She had this to say. I believe that's her Instagram page, if I'm correct. She commented on Don Lemon's post by saying, 3 of my faves, meaning the 2 individuals that he was on the show with. She said, 3 of my faves. All I have to say is Stephen is synonymous with the modern day Django. Don't be a Stephen A., especially right now. Modern day Django, huh? Is that not racist?
He stuck right there a little bit. That's hurtful. That's some strong stuff. That's some strong. Modern day Django, man, that's some strong shit. You know what Django is? The biggest sellout in the history of the world. Damn. That gotta hurt, bro. As a black man, especially someone who's saying that he's black and I'm a brother. My friends are black, you know? I'm really a brother. What are y'all doing? That gotta hurt, bro. That hurts. And then Jasmine Crockett, of course, you know, people see her as a real sister. She has a lot of black support. So with her saying this sort of stuff, you know, they don't see her as a sellout. They see her as a real black woman, bro. We see her as a real black woman. As a sister. I see her as a sister. Beautiful sister. Beautiful sister. Ooh. So if she's making these comments, got sidetracked there for a minute. If she's making these comments, then yeah, that gotta hurt because, of course, she has a big following, as I said, and a big black following. So people are going to really be influenced by her and the comments that she make. They're going to take her statements and her comments pretty serious. And if she's coming out saying these things about him, then again, this can turn the tide against him. He knows this. But we're going to get into why they got into it to begin with. He's going to get into it, I'm sure. Let's see.
Baiting. Because I sat up there and called out Jasmine Crockett calling the president a piece of shit and simply asking, is that going to work for your constituency? All of this has come about. Never mind the fact that I said it because I wanted her to do nothing to get in the way of her running for Senate because I wanted her to run for Senate. Why represent 766,000 people for a district in Texas when you could end up being one of two senators in the state representing 31 million people? Jasmine Crockett and her supporters were so appalled by it that a month or so later, she announced she's running for Senate, which was my point. She left out, and people like, I should say people like, other people who support her left out that I wanted her to run for Senate, that I think she has a chance to win a Senate seat, that I'd like to see Texas get a little bluish. They left that out. I'm talking about winning. We talking about feelings. And you would say that about me. A representative in the United States of America would call me the modern day Django, and y'all left out the part that she was days removed from going on The View and saying Marjorie Taylor Greene, her nemesis, her Republican nemesis in the House over the last couple of years, Marjorie Taylor Greene should be shown grace. But I shouldn't. This is the world that we're living in.
So now you saying she's a sellout. Now you saying Jasmine is a sellout. She taking up for the white woman, taking up for Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though they've had some intense back and forth, and they have. And she's saying that she deserves grace or, you know, forgiveness or whatever. So Stephen A is saying, oh, so she deserves forgiveness, but I don't. Oh, but.
Once again, Jasmine Crockett has been invited on this show multitude of times. You sitting down talking to everybody else, how come you ain't sit down and talk to me? Scared of what I'm going to ask? I don't know. I have no clue. But if you're going to say something like that about somebody, hell, say it to their face. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you noticed this, and I don't want to step out of pocket. I'm being very respectful when I say this because I'm grateful. I'm grateful with what I'm about to bring up. When Jasmine Crockett appeared on The View a couple of weeks ago, the green room that she was in was 10 feet away from First Take Studios across the hall. 10 feet. I was on the air. I did not have the pleasure or the luxury to meet her because I was on the air doing my show from 10 a.m. to noon. And by the time I got off of First Take and I came outside, she was gone. As I was walking outside, an abundance of ladies stopped me. After they stopped me to take pictures, and I took pictures with several of the ladies who happened to be in the audience for The View that day, as I was being escorted out of the building with security by my side, security in the building.
This dude, this dude is dramatic. What happened, dog? Took the pictures, being escorted out by security. Okay, Jasmine Crockett mama. What happened with Jasmine Crockett's mother, man? Be careful too, boy.
A woman walked up to me and said, "Hello, Stephen. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Jasmine Crockett's mother." I looked up the picture of Jasmine Crockett's mother in the aftermath of all of that to make sure it was really her as opposed to somebody saying that they were her, because I never knew what her mother looked like. She could not have been kinder. She could not have been sweeter. And I could not have appreciated more what she said to me. I said to her, "Are you mad at me too?" And I'm only saying this because she didn't ask me to be quiet and keep things confidential. She was just a kind lady that approached me to let me know she was Jasmine Crockett's mother. And she said to me, when I asked her, "Are you upset at me too?" She said, "No, I'm actually here to thank you because you are a person that repeatedly compliments my daughter. You remind people that she is educated. You remind people that she is accomplished. And you remind people that she can accomplish great things. And I appreciate that."
What do you think about T-Mobile home internet only being $35 a month?
We need to take your mind
Really?
off of this. Come check out my new man cave.
That's what her mama said. Her mama met up with you and
T-Mobile's
said,
got home internet, just $35
I
a month,
wanna
and it's guaranteed
thank
for
you.
5 years.
for showing all this love
Go
to my
back
daughter.
and look at my clips, at the things that I've said
Damn.
about Jasmine Crockett, and you will find that to be true. It's absolutely true.
Okay.
But you wouldn't know that from what she put on Instagram. And I love how it's totally cool. I got to watch everything that I say. And I got to watch everything that everybody that I talk to and all of this other stuff. But you can go on Instagram and call me a modern day Django as a representative for the United States of America. You can engage in that kind of verbiage. All because I asked a question that I wanted you to answer. That part saddens me. I have the airways available to me, contrary to what y'all want to think, believe, or whatever. I'm not going away. Not going anywhere. I'm going to continue to talk to people on both sides of the aisle because I know at the heart of all of this, that's what the problem is. Y'all don't want me talking to nobody. You don't want me to talk to anybody on that side. They're Republicans. They must be racist. They're Republicans, so they don't care about black people. They're Republicans. What about the black conservatives?
Well, the same for them. They don't care about black people either. Like the Nazi Republicans don't. That's what about the black conservatives. Fuck them. That's what about them. They don't care about black people either. And the Nazi Republicans damn sure don't. This Nazi administration, this white nationalist regime under Trump certainly doesn't care about black people. This is not a secret, bro. This dude's crazy.
Because let me tell you something right now. Black liberals, black moderates, black conservatives, all are welcomed on the show. Not just white politicians, not just white folks on either side of the aisle. Everybody. I am no black conservative, but I certainly understand why black conservatives get so heated when it comes to the issues of liberalism, because they see how they get labeled for their ideological beliefs and how they get denigrated. So the liberal can believe what the liberal wants to believe, and we can agree or disagree. But if a black conservative feels a certain way, they got to be a sellout to their community. They can't believe there's a better strategy to the economy. They can't believe there's a better strategy to addressing border issues. They can't believe there's a better strategy for affordability. Oh, no, it must be. And of course, they can't possibly disagree with some of the stuff that Trump is doing, like the latest nonsense that he put out there where he's blaming black folks and speaking about the issues of slavery and things of that nature as something that's been unfavorable to white people. Like that should be ignored, like history should be erased. There ain't a week that goes by that I don't call Trump out or something from his administration. But we ignore that, don't we? Couldn't that fit the narrative? It's really unfortunate, but it's okay, because I can take it, and I'm going to keep on taking it, because at any time I want to, I can give it. But as it pertains to the black community, I'm not going to go overboard in addressing it. I don't have to. I'm not going to be invited to the latest barbecue. Don't y'all know I have my own? Don't y'all know that 100% of the time, at least 99% of the people that show up are black people? The things that I've been doing for HBCUs, the things that I do for Winston-Salem State, my alma mater, with the scholarships and everything, the things that I do in mentorship and what have you, the things that I do in terms of assisting ESPN and any place that I work with, including here at SiriusXM, is to make sure that I assist in diversifying the body of employees that work. I've been doing the work, and I'm going to continue to do the work. I'm going to continue to love my people. I do not speak for us. You're absolutely right, Don. I never said I did. Who the hell do you think you speak for? Who do you speak for? Come on now. We don't have to go there.
They tripping, bro.
You don't speak for all black people, neither do I.
They tripping.
And I'm quite sure there's a plethora of black people who love you out there.
I'm sure, because the clip I saw from Joy Reid, he said he's not going to play it. I guess Joy Reid put out a clip. I didn't see that clip. I saw another clip with her talking about Stephen A. a little bit and saying that she's about to do a video on him or go to her channel and talk about it, whatever. She was somewhere else, I think, talking to someone, and they mentioned him, and she made a couple of comments. So I'm sure she has a response to this or has already put out something. You know, they're going back and forth. Don Lemon's going to say something about this, maybe Jasmine. They're going back and forth a little bit, bro. And, you know, Stephen A. ain't going too crazy, but he's taking a few shots. He's taking a few shots low key.
And some who don't. Same applies to me. But y'all can peel my takes all you want to, Joy, and edit them and do all that stuff. Here's the bottom line. I'm on the air over 300 days out of the year. A minimum of 470 to 500 hours a year live. I'm quite sure from time to time I'm going to say things people don't like. If you had to talk as much as I have to talk, who knows what you would say? You want to dig up files and show receipts? Do I need to dig up your file? Emails and beyond? The things you've said? I'd never do that. It's your business.
It's getting personal.
Not in a million years. I don't play that game.
Yeah, okay.
Y'all do what y'all do. I do what I do.
What do you say now?
I don't claim to know everything. I'm not an aficionado. I don't know more politics than either one of y'all. I certainly know more politics than Jasmine Crockett or anybody else for that matter. That's why I talk to the experts that do. I remember seeing Torrey doing some video about the arrogance. He's doing he's doing a political show and stuff like that. He doesn't even know anything about politics. That's why I interview politicians. From Akeem Jeffries to Representative Clyburn to Madeleine Dean to Governor Josh Shapiro to Governor Spencer Cox to Speaker to Jim Jordan to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. And yes, to Ted Cruz as well. Representative Eric Swalwell, operators from both sides of the aisle, because I don't know. I'm interviewing them to tell me. Just like when I didn't know anything about pop culture and the issues that were being discussed, Tori, I called you, who was on my show, educating me about what the subject matters were. And from there, I deduced an opinion based on the facts that were put out there, combined with the facts that you educated and enlightened me about, and I had an opinion. Last time I checked, that's what people got podcasts and YouTube shows for. Don't y'all have them? What's wrong with me having them? Rhetorical question, because we know you'll find a reason to complain about me, not you, Tori, but Joy, Don, and all of that stuff. Have at it. I won't be talking about y'all anymore. I wish you best. I wish you well. And by the way, when there's an issue that you want to discuss, when I have panels from both sides, like I'm planning to, when I conduct a town hall or whatever, if you want to be a part of it, you're welcomed. I don't mind having you at all. I'm not going to lose any sleep. Don't have any hatred. Don't wish you any harm. Not politicking and scheming for you to end up being canceled and unemployed and silenced. Because you know how this goes, right, America? Folks ally you. They want to ally you. If not, they want to neutralize you. If they can't do that, they want to destroy you. Which category do y'all fall under? My answer towards y'all would be ally, because you're not my enemy. I'm wishing you nothing but the best. When I brought up your numbers, it was pointing out how you got let go because y'all were doing what y'all were doing and you went all in on Trump. And then once Trump got elected, the landscape changed because the business changed. That's all I did. I'm sorry if you felt the need to take it another way. But there will be no animus aimed towards you from me. I have better things to do with my time and my life. I will not be bothering you again, assuming I'm bothering you now. Representative Jasmine Crockett, you are an entirely different matter. Saying that about me was low and it was uncalled for. It was wrong. It was unnecessary. And it's trying to paint a narrative. I asked a question about you. You put out something about me that people might want to attack me over. Is that what we should expect from our U.S. representatives? Or potentially a United States senator?
Yeah.
Once again, another question.
In this day and age, yeah.
But don't bother answering.
On the Trump, yeah.
I can take that too.
Trump has said much worse.
Good luck in your pursuit of the Senate seat. You're still welcomed on the show. I don't expect you to accept. And I won't lose any sleep over it. But it's a shame that you'd go that route. To think it is bad enough to put it out in the stratosphere like that. All I could say is that y'all out there would look at that and still consider me the problem. I'm going to end this by being rhetorical. In a 7 or 8 day span, she put that post on Instagram. And days earlier, she said, let's give Marjorie Taylor Greene grace. I work for SiriusXM and I work for myself. ESPN has nothing to do with this, neither does Disney. I go on the airwaves for them.
I understand that. I understand why Stephen A. keeps bringing up that point, or not keeps bringing it up. He's not necessarily belaboring the point, but he has mentioned it more than once that Jasmine Crockett just days prior gave Marjorie Taylor Greene grace, or said that she needs grace, and then offered her grace. Obviously, she's saying for everyone else to give her grace. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has said some derogatory things. And she's a bigot and a weirdo. So if she deserves grace, then Stephen A's point is, and I would agree in that sense, that he does too. But then on the other hand, they are more upset and they're going to take more shots, and it's going to be more personal with them because Stephen A. Smith is a black man, and they feel these attacks coming from a black man, what they perceive to be attacks, then it's going to make it more personal, because it's like, I would expect this from Marjorie Taylor Greene and not see Trump. I do not expect this from you. So, but still, whoever you expect it from, if Marjorie Taylor Greene, with her bigotry and nonsensical rants, deserves grace, then so does he. Either way, fuck that. If she gets grace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she has vehemently attacked Jasmine Crockett and others. She is most clearly a fanatical racist, a bigot, a white nationalist, a wannabe Nazi. She hasn't changed her stance on anything. So, in the interest of fairness, if she is to be forgiven or offered any grace, not by me, I'm not offering her nothing. I give it to Stephen A. Smith first before I give it to her. That's my whole point. But, at the same time, as I said, I understand they probably saying they're even more hurt. They expect this from Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's like, we can say whatever, we can forgive her. We're not saying she's going to change or whatever. We just forgive her and move on. That's just who she is. That's who Trump is. That's who J.D. Vance is. But you, Stephen A., so it just could be that's the situation where it's harder to forgive him because it came from a black man, what they perceive to be denigration.
To talk sports. That's what I do at ESPN. Mentioning ESPN every time you mention my name is to try to make things inconvenient for me there. I'll leave it at that. That's it for this edition. Straight Shooter with yours truly.
All right. That's a long video, I know. But I wanted to play the whole thing. Didn't want to cut him off, really. So that's what he had to say, man. So this is pretty deep. And, of course, he just ended it by saying to keep mentioning my name with ESPN is to cause problems for me there. In other words, y'all the sellouts. Y'all trying to get me fired from my job. You know what I'm saying? Or he's telling them to stop that. Stop saying this sort of stuff and putting it on ESPN, because all of the political commentary that I offer, it is not on ESPN. I talk strictly sports over there. that on my radio show or an interview or wherever else, if politics are brought up or whatever on The View and this and that, then I talk politics. But to keep on mentioning ESPN and my politics, conflating the two, will cause problems because eventually the big dogs say, man, your name is out there in a negative way, bringing negative light to the company now. So we're going to have to let you go. Clearly, he's saying that he's worried about that at least a little bit because he wouldn't have just ended it by saying what he just said, causing problems. So there you go. I'll continue to cover it. It's getting pretty deep. Certainly, Jasmine Crockett is going to have something to say in response. Joy Reid and Don, they're all going to respond to this for sure. And I'm going to cover it because we need to know what's going on in the community. We need to know what's going on with these politics and who's right, who's wrong, who's authentic here and who's not. Because without authentic leaders or people who are fighting on our behalf, then we have never obtained true freedom. So we need to know what's what. We're going to follow it to find out. Stay safe, stay free, and power to the people.